Hello and welcome to the sewing studio. Today I'm going to show you how to make the block that is in this quilt called Gemstones. This quilt was very kindly loaned to me by my friend Val, who made it from the Pam and Nikki Lintott book from Jelly Roll Quilts. So I'm going to show you how to make the block, but if you want the full measurements, as in the background and how big the quilt finishes up, then if you buy the book, it gives you all those details. But today I'm going to show you how to make this block, which is in the quilt, and I'll show you how those blocks get put together. So you need some jelly roll strips. Now, Val has used K-Facette fabric, so you can either have a jelly roll or you can cut your own strips. So your colourful fabric needs to be 2.5 inches, and your background fabric, whether you choose white or black or grey or whatever background, needs to be 1.5. And for each block you need 2 colourful pieces and 2 black pieces. So we're just going to go over to the machine and we're going to sew one of these black pieces to one side of our jelly roll and the other one to the other side of the jelly roll, and then we're going to sew our 2 strips together. So I'm just going to the sewing machine to do that. So we're going to use 1/4 inch seam, and with right sides together we're going to sew down the length of the strip. I've stopped with my needle down so I can pick the next piece up and I can continue sewing this one. We're going to the iron and we're going to press these, and it's important that we get the pressing right because we'll need them pressed in a certain way so that we can lock our pieces together. So I'm just going to set the seam, and with one strip we press towards the background fabric. And with the other piece, we press towards our colourful fabric. And you'll see why this is in a moment. So you've got one piece, you can see here I've pressed towards the black, and the other one I've pressed towards the colour. Now I'm going to go back to the machine and I'm going to join the 2 colourful strips together so that I have a piece that looks like this. Now it's also important that we press this the right way as well. So if we look at the back of it, let's just open it up, and we look at the back of it, you can see that the seam is going that way and that way. So we need to make sure our centre seam goes that way as well. So all 3 seams should be going in the same direction. And then the next thing we do is we cut this into 3.5 inch strips. So I'm just going to get rid of this rough edge here. and I'm going to measure 3.5 inches. So 1, 2, 3.5. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a 3.5 from a different fabric so that I've got a mixture in there. So I'm just going to cut a 3.5 off of this one as well. And then what you do is you take your two pieces, and if you look at how your seams go, we've got one lot of seams going that way and this lot of seams going that way. And so we butt them up together, and you probably will want to pop a pin in just to hold your seams in place. And we're going back to the machine, and we're just going to sew that down using a 1/4 inch seam. And then we're going to give this a press. And there we have our block. I'm just going to cut that bit of thread off there. And our blocks go together. One goes this way, and then the other block goes this way. And that's how you make your rows. So we're just going to go over now and look at Val's quilt, and we're going to talk through how that's been put together. So you can see that the blocks have been put together that way, then that way, then that way. And the next row goes the other way, so they alternate. And with this quilt, what I like is it's been long arm quilted, and there's this lovely leaf shape in the block, and it's echoed again and again. So there's like a flowery shape within the block and then going across the block as well. So it's really beautifully done. And the other thing I really like with this is she's made a fillet using the Cafacet fabric, and it's tucked into her binding. So she's got black binding with this gorgeous little fillet here. And then on the back, she's got black fabric on the back as well. So it's absolutely beautiful, and it lives up to its title, Sparkling Gemstones. So as always, have fun, and I look forward to seeing you next time here in the sewing studio. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. There's a button just to my left. If you've got any questions, we're happy to answer those in the comments below. And for all your patchwork and quilting needs, head on over to the sewing studio. We have an amazing array of patchwork and quilting products, and all of the relevant links are in the description below. Look forward to seeing you next time.